Hey, everybody. Today we have a extremely important, I would say overlooked micro habit that can transform your mind, body, and business and relationships for that matter. And if you find yourself trying to juggle all the business, family, health, everything, all of the things, and you're constantly putting everything before your well being, then this episode is for you to find out why you do that and how to install a really powerful mini habit that could, in my opinion, legit save your life. Okay. For me, it did. So I want to welcome you to the Entrepreneur Expansion. This is the first ever gamified show that helps entrepreneurs master their subconscious mind, body, and business by implementing micro habits into their lives in a fun, supportive, action-oriented way to create more transformational impact and income. And bottom line, folks, I just want you to actually get a return on your investment with your time here today. Because how many of you have listened to a podcast or listened to a YouTube video and done nothing with it? So we have the wonderful Crystal Statsky-Biichle here today. And she is a content marketing strategist dedicated to helping small businesses improve their content marketing, increase visibility, and build a strong online presence. And when I saw the mini habit that she wanted to talk about, I was just so excited because this one is near and dear to my heart. And of course, we could probably geek out about content marketing. And today we're talking about self-care. And I would love for you to tell me, Crystal, why did you decide to start? Why did you want to come on and talk about this specific subject?
Thank you. Hi everyone. Yeah, absolutely. I made this micro habit um near and dear to my heart when I first started my business. So when I was working a 9 to 5 job, I thought that I wanted to be an event planner. So that's what I was doing. I was event planning. I was doing what I thought I wanted to do for the rest of my life. I was so in love with it. And then I just hit a breaking point where one day I was just so overwhelmed. I hadn't had a day off in months. I was working from 6 a.m. to midnight because I was not only working in the office planning the events, but then I was working the events. And it just got to a point where I couldn't do it any longer. So, what I thought I wanted to do, what I loved, was not exactly what was in the cards for me. And that's because I never scheduled me time. So, when I
Mm.
quit my 9 to 5 job, and I started this business where I was working for myself and helping other small businesses. I made sure that that was the number one micro habit that I was going to incorporate into my daily life, which was taking time to myself. So now that I'm working for myself, I work in the mornings on my client work, and then I make sure that the afternoons are reserved just for me. And that's kind of how I've been building my self care routine.
I can already hear listeners' brains going, how? How, Crystal? How do you do that? How, they're getting stuck in the, well, that sounds amazing for you, right? There's so many saboteurs that are probably popping up for people. Because a lot of folks I know from a lot of the clients I worked with, self-care feels selfish to them and like the time away. And, I don't have, there's limiting beliefs of I don't have the time to actually give myself time to myself. How did you talk yourself into that? Like what was the belief structure that allowed you to actually be like, you know what, this has got to be number one?
That's a really good question. As far as a belief structure goes, I just like I've always wanted to run my own business. So when I started this, I didn't want to fall back into that routine where I was working all the time and then I got super burned out and I wanted to quit. I did not want
Mm.
that to happen to me again. So that's why I prioritized my self-care because I realized it was way more important to me than any other job. Um, and like you said, people are going to be really racking in their heads, like, how can you possibly do this? And self care looks different for everyone. So even though I say, yeah, I work in the mornings, like 8 a.m. to 1 p.m., like after this interview, I'm going to go for a walk and that's going to be my self-care time.
Hmm.
Um, and so I make that a habit. Even if I have to put it in my calendar, I make it happen.
That's the big part about it is scheduling it. I've found that if I don't schedule something, if it's not in my calendar, it doesn't get done, right? Like
Mhm.
it's just how my brain works. But we'll get into that, of course. Um, the reason this one resonated so much with me is for those listeners that don't know this, I was a full-time teacher for 18 years and I was teaching full time, but then I also ran a full time fitness facility on top of that. And I had employees and all that stuff. And so I was teaching from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. and then going and running the fitness facility from 3:30 to 8 p.m. And of course, I had people running morning programs and all that stuff. And I was then, of course, just coming home and just crashing. And I destroyed my gut health. I destroyed my health in general. I started getting sinus infections. I dropped from one, two, at the time I was 200 pounds. I'm 6'3", 200 pounds. I dropped down to 165 in 3 months because I destroyed my health and well-being. And I needed to learn this extremely powerful key that self-care needed to become my number one value, which was hard for me because I was really into putting other people first. And I had this massive epiphany, this aha, that, you know what? The things that I put above this value, like family and business, they needed to actually go below it because I don't have a family and I don't have a business if I'm dead and if I'm not taking care of myself. And that's when I had that bing, aha, that, you know what, this micro habit that you're talking about is the one. It's like you have to take this time for yourself because your central nervous system can't handle, like, even if you don't feel stressed, it can't handle it. So I love that you're bringing this up. For those that say they can't put time in, they can't do this, what would you tell them?
Um, do you want like the harsh truth or the nice truth?
Oh,
Because if they say,
we're only real talk here.
I would say, suck it up. I'm just kidding. Uh, no, I would say everyone can allow for self-care. I mean, I mean, what are you doing in the morning before you get to work or something? You're getting ready.
Mhm.
Why not wake up like 10 or 20 minutes early and go and take a walk first thing in the morning? That can count as self-care, and
Yep.
anybody can do that. Or if you're getting home from work, instead of just immediately grabbing dinner and sitting on the couch, why not eat dinner and then go for a walk? I just keep using walk as an example, but it could be
I love it.
anything.
Walking's my favorite.
Yeah, same here. You could do stretching. You can even read a few pages of a book that you've always wanted to read. You can enjoy your coffee like on your front porch or something. Like all of that counts as self-care. So
Yep.
I think anyone can do it. You just have to think about it. You just have to make it happen.
I love that. And I heard this really powerful quote. It was Oprah was talking to another woman, and I always forget this woman's name, but she said something that like shook me to the core. She said, "Self-care isn't selfish because you are the representative of God in your life. So every time you're putting yourself last, you're putting God last." And I was like, "Wow." Whoo. I was like, that's a totally different perception shift. And I was like, man, how many people are able to shift because of that. So, and for any listeners, you believe whatever you want to believe. I'm not saying that you you have to believe in God. You can believe in whatever you want, but it's really like you are in this vehicle. You're in this vehicle. You're riding in your body vehicle for life. And if you're not taking just a little bit of time for yourself, um, what are we doing here? Right? And I think
Hmm.
that's the aha that you had. You were like, what am I doing here? Why am I putting all of these things last? Putting my
Hmm.
all of my things last. And so if someone were to go and implement this, let's get down to the nitty gritty. Like they want to put this in, right? First, I would say they need to decide how many days a week they're going to do this, right? Some people can't wrap their head around doing this every day. Okay. So they first would need to decide how many days a week. Would you say that's true?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it doesn't have to be every day. Ideally, it would be every day, but just a couple times a week, or maybe you make a certain day of the week, like a Sunday, like a day just for yourself.
Hmm.
So you can set it up however it works for you. So that's the
All
first
right.
step is to figure that out.
Perfect. So step one, figure out how many days you're going to do this. And then step two is I would say how long, like how much they're willing to do with this. Do you think there's a minimum?
I mean, minimum 10 minutes. Like
Cool.
anybody can do 10 minutes. And then
There's
if you
plenty
want
of people
to
that
go
will
even further,
that yeah, there's plenty of
yeah,
people's minds that are like, but Crystal, I don't,
exactly.
I don't have and they're stuck in that. They can't get out of that. And so I love that you're like, you know what? I like that you said suck it up a second ago. That was good. So it's like, look, 10 minutes. If you can't give yourself 10 minutes, there's probably some other mental, saboteurs that are blocking you in your life that this is a big thing. So 10 minutes. Um, so minimum 10 minutes, folks. Okay. How many days a week? Minimum 10 minutes. And then do you think it's important? And I'm just excited to hear your take on this. Is like, do you feel like they should think about what they want to use that 10 minutes on? Like be really pick it out and be intentional with what that looks like, or can it just be like willy-nilly?
Honestly, I've tried that route of being intentional where I'm like, I'm going to, walk 2 miles in the morning, or I'm going to do a meditation session. But then the time comes and I'm like, God, I really don't feel like doing that. And that's
Hmm.
okay. So I think for me personally, like it's kind of whatever I feel like in the moment. Like even my self care could be, oh, you know what? I feel like doing an ab workout, or I feel like just walking on the treadmill, or I feel like
Love it.
just going to a coffee shop by myself. So it's kind of whatever I feel in the moment. And I think that works for a lot of people. Like don't put yourself in a box, you know,
I love that. And there's
it's
going to be
the
different
opportunities are
listeners.
endless.
Yeah, no, I love the free flow. I'm the same as you. Sometimes I'm like, let's go for a walk or run around in the backyard with my dog or whatever it is, right? A lot of times it's playing with my kids in some fashion. So it's this time that you get to decide. And if you think about how the rest of your life is structured, all of you listeners, a lot of it's many of times it's very structured. This allows you to be free and like just like free flow, freestyle. And I really like the vibration behind that. So they pick the day, the time, they get to decide in the moment, or they can plan ahead. And last but not least, this is something that came up earlier. They have to, they don't have to do anything. Change that language pattern, folks. You get to schedule this into your day. You get to schedule it in your calendar. Why do you think scheduling it is so important?
Because me, and I'm assuming a lot of people, they aren't going to do something unless if it's on a list. I don't know. I'm a list maker. Like I have to kind of jot down things that I need to accomplish for the week, or I need to put it in my calendar, or else I'm just going to forget because I'm so busy with other things that, I'm going to remember when it's too late. So
Hmm.
I would highly suggest putting it in your calendar or writing it down somewhere where you're going to see it so you remember to actually make it happen. Or else you're going to remember when it's too late and you're burnt out and you're like,
Yep.
why didn't I think of this sooner?
Yep. Now, one other thing, the last elephant in the room that I know some people might be thinking about, and or this will happen, folks, okay? The worst thing that you can do is beat yourself up and not empathize with yourself when you make a mistake or you don't follow through with this, okay? Because Like always, I always say you're running on your subconscious programs, folks. This is a new neural pathway. This is a new subconscious program that you are introducing into your life. And so it may take some time to establish this. So rather than beating yourself up, if and when you slip up or you don't follow through on this thing, it's okay. Get back on, give it another try, right? Beating yourself up just makes it worse, and it makes you feel like this is something that you have to do rather than something you get to do for yourself. This is a self-love piece here, y'all. So I absolutely love that. Is there anything else you feel like needs to be added to this micro habit before we wrap up?
I think that just about covers it. And I was also going to make a point that, if you're like me or like Matt, if you are running your own business and you are just super, super overwhelmed, that's something that, which has also helped me. Like, yes, I do it for my clients. Like, they unload a lot of the work onto me so they can have their self care time. But I also have assistants that I unload work onto as well. So, delegating tasks that doesn't need your full attention 24/7, delegate to other people, and then
Love it.
that's going to help you find that self-care time if you're having trouble finding it at all. So that's like
Absolutely.
the last piece I wanted to mention.
Totally agree. Think about the time that you're using and do you need to be doing this? Can you outsource, automate, or delegate it? I love it. So, folks, like always, if you are ready to take this one on, jump into the community, comment committed, decide how many days a week you're going to do it, decide how much time you're going to give to it, and then just yeah, get going. And every time you do something, and rather than saying done in the comments below, I would love for you to share kind of what you did because now you can celebrate that win. Big on celebrating wins. So I love that. And like always, Crystal and I are real human beings. If you get stuck and you have questions, connect with us, reach out, have a conversation. We want to support you. That's what we're on this planet for. We are guides. We're light workers. We want to help people. So, Crystal, if they were other than the community, if they were seeking you out on the internet, where might they find you?
Yeah, so I'm all over. So you can reach me by finding my website, crystalstatsky.com, or you can find me on all social media platforms. That is Crystal Statsky.
Perfect. Perfect. And we'll
So
put
super
that in the
easy.
show notes, folks, so that you can find it real easy. She'll be in the community. You can connect with her, send her a message. Um, so thankful and grateful that you brought this habit up. It's so powerful, folks. I mean, this one micro habit can, like, for me, it actually saved my life. Like, I will say, without a shadow of a doubt, taking that time for myself and changing my mindset around taking time for myself made it so that I could heal. I could heal my gut health. I could gain my weight back. I could feel um, mentally stable again. And it's now a non-negotiable. And I love that you kept bringing up walking because that's my non-negotiable.
Yeah.
That there will be an episode just on walking, folks. I'm going to be doing it myself because I'm so passionate about it. And as you can see, Crystal is as well. So
Yep.
it's just a great way. I mean, I'm writing a book while I'm walking, everything. It's just a really powerful thing that I think a lot of people underestimate. So I'm excited for y'all to start implementing, scheduling this, putting it in your calendar, and really showing up for yourself, taking action, and maybe that action is doing nothing. And remember, folks, if you and when you do that, you will get results. Thank you so much, Crystal.
Thank you.